executive session. Scott, did you have anything else?
Yes, I've had Mary Bikeman dropped off Fair Board application for Dalton Straub,
Okay.
and I have checked, he does not owe any back taxes or anything.
He what's that?
Does not owe any back taxes.
A lot of young people.
I think he did good.
Dalton's a nice young man.
Yes, he is.
About as polite up there at the clinic as you get. Getting out to the farm and help work calves.
You're good.
Never would have expected it where he's never around it when he grew up.
Right. You do have an opening, right? And the Fair Board does have an opening.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The Fair Board's approved it,
Yep.
so we need a motion.
Yep. To appoint.
I move that we place Dalton Straub on Shawnee County Fair Board.
I'll second them.
It's been moved and seconded to put Dalton Straub on the Fair Board. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed.
Sure as it has some grant stuff for the transportation.
Okay. No matter what you do, you always have to run it. You just painted.
Good morning.
Teresa, how are you?
I'm all right. It's Monday.
Good day.
All right, so for part of the transportation, I have to have the approval of our Title VI plan going forward into 2024. We do, this is renewed every 3 years, and it's part of the Federal Transit Administration agreement. So I just need, if you want to go back through it, it's right here. It kind of gives our demographics, and if anybody was to complain or anything
But
regarding.
this has not changed at all.
No, because I won't do it again. I redid it last year. I don't know if you remember me coming in and getting approval for it, but I have to have approval every year to continue to apply for the grant. Yep, it's part of the requirements.
How much longer do we have before we get another one?
So we apply, I'm working on the application right now. I'll be in next meeting for you guys to approve it, and we'll, if you remember, we applied for one last year, but due to funding, there were so many that applied, they raised the mileage to 110,000, and we aren't quite at 100,000 yet, when we've reached our 5-year limit, but it's 5 years or 100,000 miles. But I'm gonna go ahead and apply again, because I wanna keep us on the radar, because we are over our 5-year limit, and we're at 83,000 miles. So we put about 1,100 miles on it a month.
Really?
It's also a matter of
Dollar
the,
General and back.
Well, we make trips to Bird City, we make trips to Goodland, but yeah, in around town, so yeah. But then again too, it also, like I said, last year where they had so many apply, they had to limit who, picks and choose, and so, I just have a feeling it's gonna be tough, but I think we need to keep on the radar and, so that they know.
No, do we need that big of a van?
Well, we need the lift capabilities, and
Well, I
that's
know,
about
but
the
That's the smallest that they make with
yes,
the lift.
yes,
It seems like it's,
so.
Then
I mean, we've had it full, like when,
Really?
yeah, when the assisted living used to take all the riders out for lunch and stuff, we'd fill it. I mean, typically, the most we have is probably 4 on an average, I would say, at a time,
plus,
but,
plus they gotta have room to tie down the
right,
wheelchairs.
so you gotta have room for the
I
wheelchair
understand.
securements and that stuff, so,
I can't think who I was talking to. But their brother-in-law drives one up around Colorado Springs. And they have a bunch of them,
right,
And his was just a little minivan, so if they didn't need
right.
a lift, they'd just run around and pick up people that.
Yeah, right. And, and I would love to add an expansion van, but just right now it'd be drivers. I don't know, because we have lots of calls that need to go to Colby or to Hayes for more appointments. But since we're a demand service, call on demand, most of the time we just can't accommodate those far
Someone would like
trips.
to go there.
It's just not, it just doesn't work with our timeframes, so. I just need a motion that you approve the Title VI for 2024.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Title 20.
Title VI.
Title VI for 2023. All in favor signify by saying.
24.
24. Signify by
Please.
saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Yeah, because I was late to the game last year and didn't realize I needed this, so we did it in January for this year, so I could get it attached to last year, but I'm trying to be on the ball and get stuff going before I realize I need
Thank
it.
you, Trish.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
You too.
I'm gonna run downstairs.
So will I.
You need a 5-minute break?
Yes,
Dom's
sir.
coming in.
Okay.
Wait till dinner and coffee.
Hurry up, they gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, this will be super quick. Because I want to drop this so you guys can think about it, and then on the 30th, I'll be back to talk about it more. Freedom Claims, right now we have a trust fund account, like bank account, fiscal bank account for the reserves or whatever. It's earning quite a bit of interest, and right now the interest is just staying in that account. Some counties take it out, some counties leave it in to help build the reserve. We looked for resolution, we couldn't find a resolution that it was ever stated either way. So I wanted to throw that out there, that I think there needs to be a resolution either way. If we keep it in there, that's fine. If we take it out, that's fine too, but I think it needs to be stated someplace.
Okay.
And then I'm looking through the accounting of that whole thing, and it's a giant mess. So I'm working with the auditors on how to, not necessarily clean, it doesn't need to be cleaned up, but just like streamline it and make sense of it all. And it, right now, it's just not making a whole lot of sense, like the whole thing, Freedom Claims and that whole reserve account and how we pay them and how we're saving and how we're, so. Right now, it's at like 5.2% interest or something like that, and there's 183,000 in the reserve account. So that was something else. I talked to Freedom Claims about it. Is I asked if there was like a cap, like for our size county and our number of employees, if like 200,000 in the reserve is a good amount, and then we could stop putting into the reserve, or.
They tell us every time what our reserve is but they never say anything about a cap.
Right, there, and they said there's not a cap, we should just keep funding it, and keep funding it, and keep funding it, and keep funding it.
So we might have a bad year.
We might have a bad year of claims, so. My thing is that it's been very Freedom Claims driven, not very county driven.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that they're actually looking out for the county's best interests and the finances and.
Utilize the money if we can, is what you're getting at.
Right.
Okay.
If we're at a healthy reserve, and I don't know that we're at a healthy reserve, but I wanted to bring this up so that we could discuss it, because it's ultimately your guys' decision how much we fund the reserve account. And right now, we've gone off of whatever they have suggested we do, which is probably perfectly fine. It's just, if we get into a crunch, if we get into, like I said, I just want to make sure that everybody is represented.
You're saying maybe we'll pay less, maybe we'll pay more?
I don't think we'll pay more. I just think,
Is it $9,360 what we're making a year on interest? 5.5 or 5.2? That would be,
last month we got $700
okay.
and change. So the interest rate fluctuates each month,
Right.
because it's with FNB and they fluctuate for the given,
So that'd be $8,400 a year at that rate.
yeah.
Not bad.
So the auditor's question was, okay, so if we keep the interest accruing in that account, are they giving us credit on what we put in as a county, because we're already putting in $8,400.
Right.
And right now, they're not. We do a regular, this is what we do for the reserve on top of that, so it's just something I'm kind of looking into. It was never put into CIC. Dolores had never put it into CIC, so it was never being tracked through CIC, and the auditors were very excited that when I called them and said, I'm gonna put this in CIC so we can,
Yeah.
so I'm doing that now. They're very pleased with that, but that kind of brought up some other,
I think what I would suggest is figure out how to get it streamlined
yeah,
so that you understand what is going on. And then reach out to the other treasurers who have the freedom claims and ask and get a survey of what their commissioners have done in
Okay.
regards to the interest
Okay.
and how their counties handle it.
okay,
And if anyone has a sample resolution,
okay,
to also get a hold of that.
okay, perfect. Yep.
This is a nice problem to have, though.
100%,
Compared to what
yes.
we're used to dealing with.
Oh, yes,
So,
yeah,
But I appreciate you.
100%. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that.
Yeah, so I just, and before, I mean, the interest rate was like 0.5, so we were making $8 a month, so.
Yeah.
But when you add a couple zeros onto the end of that,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that's,
makes sense.
I'm looking out, I wanna look out for the county and the budget and but our reserves too.
Right.
Both in the general fund as well as in this fund.
Right.
I mean, that's what we're hired to do, or voted to do, or whatever, so.
And make sure the money is our money.
Right, it is. So, and then I'll be back at the end of the month to balance the tax roll and give that presentation for the 22 tax year. So I'll hopefully have some of that information that Leslie requested on that, and we'll reconvene.
My
you.
plan is, and I probably should have announced it when it was my turn, is I will be bringing a resolution to the next meeting to start another tax sale.
Okay.
Since 22 is officially delinquent and closed, and
Exactly.
Okay.
so, okay, that's all.
Thank you, Don.
Yep.
All right, did you need to use the bathroom break?
Yeah.
Let's do a quick 5 minutes. And then we'll